Welcome back to JK Studios. This is Couch Potato, where we love television more than Tommy loves redheads. I'm the Couch Potato, and today I have with me
Sweet Potato.
Power Episode 8. It's done.
That's what the title is?
It's done.
I would have named it Dirty Hands or something.
Make sure you guys drop a like on this page if you like these videos, and if you like our videos, click this card right above my head to see our 5-minute beat challenge. We're challenging all the producers in Louisiana to make a beat for us in 5 minutes. We're gonna start with Tommy and just go through what he's been going through this episode with Terezi. So we see that he starts off, he goes to visit his mom, and wants to get an explanation of what happened to his dad. His mom lies at first.
Yes, she just like, your dad died. He left. Well, he left us when you were really young. You couldn't remember him, and then he died when he was gone. Yeah. And that's it.
So
like that's it.
Tommy accepts it at first from her, but then once he talks to Ghost,
and we know how Tommy is too.
Right. He doesn't trust anybody, so he's very suspicious and wants to know for himself.
Right.
So once he talks to Ghost, he get a reconfirmation. Ghost doesn't know anything, of course. But he's just like, I have no clue, but I mean, he wants something. Yeah. So Tommy decides, this was pretty smart. Right. Tommy weasels his way back over to Terezi's house. Yeah. We see Terezi's wife, who
looks better,
a whole lot better. So the money went.
Yeah. So the little experimental treatment seems to be working.
So I'm sure we're going to see more of her. I feel like.
Yeah, I would think next season
Tommy's going to be more into that family. Yep. But moving on to Ghost. At the beginning, he goes over to Silver's house, and of course, Silver had just smashed Tasha. Yeah. So, they have a quick.
So that was kind of weird. Right. Like, oh shit, he done found out already.
Right. And he pretty much just went to go find out, had he heard from Proctor, just to see if he's
trying to cover his own tracks, trying to see what Proctor knows, what Proctor's doing.
Because of course he hadn't talked to Proctor since the case, Proctor got dropped from the case. He saw him talking to Mock and wanted to know what was going on, if he was getting ready to rat on them, which we'll touch a little bit more on that later. So once he goes over to Silver, he finds an earring on the floor.
He was like, oh, you had some female company over, and Silver's like, well, you know how it is, you know, like I'm a single guy, blah blah blah. Right. But I kind of feel like Couch Potato was saying earlier, Courtney Kemp don't drop things like that for them not to come back up.
It's gonna come back somehow.
And if it doesn't come back up, it's kind of like, why girl? Right. Why girl?
Right. Yeah.
Councilman Tate.
Right. Well, Lorenz Tate, Councilman Tate, they got the same last name.
They got the same damn name.
Well, Ghost, Lorenz Tate is pretty much like still using Ghost. He wants to help reform Ghost's old project and wants to, better the community. And he's really using Ghost's face. Like, that is the main thing. So he pretty much set it up so that Ghost could show like the inner city youth that he helped get out of the inner city and become more, become a businessman, and then Dre hop out the car.
And as they're, as Councilman Tate is telling them, this building, I want it to be this, that, and the other for the children. It's always for the kids. So we got that, and then he goes off to take a phone call, but before that he kind of mentions but it's a drug infested area, and that's we got to clean that up before we can even renovate, because it don't make sense to fix up something that's gonna get tore up by some drug dealers and crackheads and blah blah blah. So he walked off, and you can see that the corner is 718. So when he walked off, Ghost is like, Dre, first of all, what the fuck? Secondly, you couldn't give me a heads up. And third, why are the Toros on this corner? Because this is a corner that I got for Julio. So that's that. So now he knows that they territory really getting taken back over. And then Dre fills him in on the fact that Tommy went and talked to the Jimenez last episode.
And when they go and sit down, they flipped how they use Lobos, because
Tommy dropped the bomb last time, we killed Lobos or whatever, and they was like,
right. But I didn't know, we didn't know that it was the Jimenez brothers that said they killed Lobos to have their respect.
Right.
But Ghost said that if they don't give them all the demands that they asked for, that they're going to expose the Jimenez brothers, and nobody will fear them anymore, and then you won't have the same respect.
Yeah.
After that meeting, once we get back with Ghost, we see Ghost. He goes to speak with Proctor, try to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, try to figure out why he hasn't heard from Proctor, what happened with the situation with Mock. Proctor pretty much tells him that, you know, he's loyal, he's been loyal, and he's going to forever be loyal pretty much because he's in this whole situation with them together.
Right.
But there's a twist.
Of course.
Once we get to the end of the episode, we find out that Proctor didn't even get rid of the laptop.
Sure didn't.
And he put it into a safe deposit box.
Sure did.
So, with that being said...
And they probably got instructions with it, too. If I die, this who probably did it. So, if I'm dead...
Right.
This is how you unlock this laptop. This is what's on this laptop. This is who killed me, blah, 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 whoop, whoop. And I'm sure that's what he did.
Okay, well, when we first see Raina finally goes and asks her mom about the school in Connecticut, the boarding school in Connecticut. And they're just like, you know, why do you want to go there? Blase, blase.
Right, and she's just like, well, you know, it's good academics and all of that stuff. Which I kind of felt like as a parent, Tasha should have been more like receptive. Like, they got a lot going on, and my daughter feel like she want to get away from New York. Yeah. I ain't mad at you for trying to get away from New York. And then Keisha down there is looking at the brochure talking about, oh, of course you want to go. This looks like a damn resort. But that little nugget right there is important to Tariq's story too.
Right.
So go ahead.
Because actually this happened in that time frame. Mm-hmm. So we see Tariq text Brain, you know, tells him that he's down to start hitting licks again.
Right.
So later on, we finally see that Tariq, they set their game plan up. Tariq put on a good, you know, he looks like an innocent kid, selling candy, accepting donation for his swim team.
Swim team.
And once he gets there, you know, the lady was like, okay, I'm gonna, you know, give a donation. Let me see what's going on. Once both of them enters the house, Tariq gives a signal, and then the guys break in and then rob the place.
Right, and then they set it up to where Tariq still came out looking innocent. So they punched him too, like, little nigga, blah, 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 and then take his phone and all of that stuff. And then the lady was so convinced that he wasn't a part of that. She was like, don't hurt him or whatever. And then so they take her upstairs for her to show them, you know, her money and jewelry and all that stuff. And they told him to go ahead on and dip out and then meet up with them later. Tariq being Tariq,
of course, goes up the stairs to figure out see what's going on. She sees one of the guys getting ready to start raping the woman for whatever reason. Like,
right, and even Brain was like, dude, come on for all of that. Right. Start getting this stuff so we can get the fuck out of here. And dude was like, you do what you doing, worry about the money. And then Tariq dumbass decides to
walk right in, say the dude Brain name, and then tell him to stop.
Brain told him to stop, and then Brain took his mask off like, I wish you didn't say that just now. And so the other dude get off the lady, and he take his mask off too. And I'm thinking, Tariq, you might be about to die right now, but I know you ain't gonna die this season. So anyway, instead they shoot the lady in the head, and whenever they turn back, Tariq was gone. That nigga was down. He wasn't even down the steps. That nigga was outside. He was outside. I was like, well, look at you. You should have been running track this whole time. Maybe if you had an extracurricular activity, your ass wouldn't be in all this bullshit.
Right. And now we see Tariq finally showing the conscience. So, with that,
he got scared. So then he went, he saw his dad
with Lorenz Tate. They were just having a little, you know, meeting at the house, and then he brought up the school.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, Raymond's talking to mom about going to this school in Connecticut, and I feel like I might want to go too or whatever. And then he was like, well, we'll talk about it later. And Councilman Tate was like, you got a good kid there and all this other bullshit that we know ain't true.
Right. So that's pretty much it for Tariq.
Well, he finally fully turned into the son that Kanan wants. I mean, he kind of dumb. I mean, still.
Let me give a little tidbit on that at the end.
Yeah.
Just to talk about that. Going into Angela and the rest of the agents, Angela, all the guys that we saw in the last episode, they all have decided and figured out that it is Mike.
So Angela, Sax, and Donovan.
They're all on one accord that it was Sandoval that killed Knox.
Right.
and they're all trying to figure out how is it that we can get him convicted of this, because he's smart, so he covered his tracks in every situation.
Right, and everything that they have is very circumstantial, because you got the weapon technically, because they have that in evidence, because he planted that himself. But you got him going up the steps on the tape, but then the tape cut off before he even get up there. But you don't see the gun in sight on the tape. Then he wiped his fingerprints off of the phone that he planted in Greg's house, so ain't no fingerprints detecting that he was even there. So I mean, it's just a bunch of stuff that is speculatory, like they can't use it in court.
So with that being said, they use, what's the skinny white guy name? Sax. They use Sax because he's the only one that has been in communication with Sandoval, because both of them want to plant all the evidence that they can against Donovan.
Right.
So Sax goes and tells them that, you know, Angela has this type of information,
and they thinking that she's thinking that it's you.
Right.
So pretty much setting Sandoval up to go see Angela, because they know that's how he operates and that's how he moves. Because they also found out that he went to Donovan's house, and Donovan,
right after Sax brought something up with him.
Yeah, and then Donovan was like, what the fuck? Like, he didn't know that your kids was there. And of course the kids told them, because we black kids.
Right,
we not about to be, I don't care if you say don't tell, I'm telling. Like,
so they figured out exactly kind of how Sandoval is moving to do these. And so Sandoval shows right up to Angela's house, right after Sax. It's like, that nigga goes straight over there, and Angela lets him in.
Like she was cool.
Right. So they start talking for a second, and then she goes ahead and said, you know, lets him know. She played it smooth and did exactly what everybody else did, but in reverse. She played her cards. She showed her cards.
She showed him, like, I got evidence that you were in the same place at the same time as one of one of Lobos' associates, and all this other stuff.
Once she showed the picture of Sandoval, we see later that she's wearing a wire, and downstairs is Sax, Mock, and Donovan. They're all listening and just waiting on that confession from Sandoval. So once Angie shows the proof, Sandoval kind of breaks a little bit, and then pretty much gives an admission that he was doing this to try to protect his family. And at that point, as soon as he kind of says he's doing it to protect his family, Donovan and Mock, they just go straight up and leave Sax in the truck. And from that point, once they're going up, we hear Sandoval, he has Andrew turned around, and he's telling her how he's going to kill her and how he's going to get off. Well, he's telling her how he's going to frame her, and he's telling her how he's going to get off. And after that, he says, everybody, I'm not the only one whose hands got dirty, or it's like a lot more people whose hands have gotten dirty. Once he says that, Angie cuts, I don't know why I keep calling her Angela. Angela cuts off the mic, and she cuts off the wire, and so nobody else could hear anything that she may be involved in. So after that, she asked Sandoval, how are you going to kill me and claim self-defense with your back turned? She asked the question to Sandoval and kind of catches him off guard. She pops Sandoval in the shoulder. So Angela takes the news of Sandoval and she goes and tells Silver, who, everybody has the same reaction of the fact that the same person that's trying to prosecute James is the person that's trying, that pulls the trigger and really framing everybody and pointing the finger at somebody. So he takes that information and he goes to the St. Patrick's and fills them in and let them know the ghost is just free man now.
Yeah, had an awkward moment with Tasha, like trying to set a date with her, brought her earring back. It was just real kind of
very awkward.
It was just a bad timing, right. I would say. But Ghost, he asked Terry who got taken down for the crime, and he told him, it was Sandoval, which Ghost later uses that information to, decide what they needed to do in terms of Sandoval, because they know now that he was working with Lobos all of that time, which goes into another thing with a meeting with Ghost, Tommy, and Proctor, because they're trying to decide if Sandoval knows about them. Is he gonna say something to try to get himself off, or try to make a plea for himself?
Right, it's just an open liability.
Yeah.
So Tommy calls Teresi later on. I thought it was a cool transition. They called Teresi later on, tell him pretty much there's this guy in jail, no good to me.
Right.
And
he
Teresi
gotta go.
I just like, all right, that's cool.
And I guess it just kind of already proves to Tommy the family ties or whatever. So Teresi said cool, and it was just that. Sandoval was in the infirmary getting patched up, and then the doctor left out, and it was like they were coming back, and he was looking at a little picture of his wife and him together, and then next thing you know, somebody just came in and sliced his neck.
Just a quick poke.
It was a slice. Sliced his neck, and then he just bled out on the floor.
I know a lot of people were clapping at that moment. I know a lot of people ain't like Greg, but they was just happy to see that happen.
Well, just because Sandoval really was running around being the ultimate kind of bad guy, like you a crooked cop, you killing people, setting people up, you know, like you doing all types of crimes.
All the check mark boxes just being
just doing all types of crimes. It's crazy. So then the other agents, of course, they get called because he wasn't even supposed to stay in jail. He was supposed to go into protective custody.
So he was only there for a short amount of time.
Right. So they show up, Angela, Sax, and Mop, and they were like, what the hell? We the only people who knew about this or knew that he was here. So, like, how would somebody know to come in and kill him? And with that, Sax already was kind of suspicious. So Sax he gave a look like he was kind of suspicious, because if we the only people in this room that know that this person was here, that means somebody else is like a mole or a leak. And he's already kind of suspicious of Angela. Everybody clears the room except Angela. So she's still in there with Sandoval's body, and she leans down and does.
It's a callback to the last episode where Dre stands over Julio. Sorry for all the Dre haters. Dre is not dying no time soon. So Dre goes and meets with the Jimenez brothers, and he just lets them know, like, I want to be the biggest drug dealer in New York, and I cannot do that under Ghost and Tommy. That's not happening. So I want in, and I could give you Tommy's whole organization without starting a war. The Jimenez brothers don't believe him at first, and they just kind of they don't believe that he'll be of any help to them. But then Dre drops a dime that shifts the power. He lets them know that, if you remember, the white people that were coming to Ghost Club for the expansion, that is who Dre has been. He's been
canoodling with that girl.
Right.
I don't remember her name, but like he's been finessing her since they first met.
Since in the last season, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And with that, he's like, they have 20 chains all over the country. Clubs and hotels.
So I can bring your stuff through both of those.
So that's a whole new revenue.
Yep.
So so with that being said, they took everything and said, okay, we'll give you the time you need, and we'll give Tommy and Ghost whatever they demand, so that you can have the time you need to get rid of whatever that they need, so we can operate to the fullest. Mm-hmm. And I mean, just from there, already we know, just like we've said earlier, Dre is going to be a major player, villain for this series going into next season. He's going to be the big drug opposition for them. So, what theories do you have for the rest of Power if you hadn't seen the leagues? What theories do you have going for next season if you have seen the leagues?
Right. Are you still up on the death tally?
Right.
Because we said Sandoval was gone.
Yeah.
And he gone.
And he gone. So who is going to die next if you haven't seen the leaks?
Right, because we know. And we already predicted it too, by the way.
And who do you think is going to die in the beginning of next season?
Because somebody going to go on episode 1 or 2.
Exactly. I'm the Couch Potato.
I'm Sweet Potato.
And we're going to check in with you guys next week for the Power Recap.